So, as I was saying a minute ago, Jennifer Tatum is a breast cancer survivor. She is a member of our Drummathon Committee, and she is also a moderator for our new group, Survivors Rock, a breast cancer constituent community. So, we're going to bring Jennifer on right now. Jennifer, what is up?
Hello.
You are in the house, man. Thanks for joining.
I'm in the house.
I know. I was thinking, you've never been on a Beat broadcast before, have you?
I have not.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is so exciting. I'm
We're,
famous now.
I know we're like Hollywood squares. We're like in a square in a box, or we're like the
I
Brady
know.
Bunch.
Don't ask me any trivia though.
Don't worry, man. I don't know anything unless it's friends. So, thanks for being here, first of all. And you've been volunteering for Breast Cancer Gets Ticket for several years now. And we first met at a BFD concert, right? I think it was was it
Yes, ma'am.
2016 or something? How long ago was it?
Yes. Yes, 2016. And I barely had any hair. My hair was just growing back after breast cancer treatment. So I met you and bought a t-shirt and said, I think I need to be a part of this.
Well, and that's one thing that's cool about Breast Cancer Can Stick It is a lot of times it's music that brings us together, and music is the commonality that we have with most of the people who are a part of this organization. I mean, we are so music driven, and I know that you are music driven as a person as well, and we share a lot of common favorite bands. But before I get too
Yes,
far
ma'am.
off course here, you are a breast cancer survivor, and that is why Breast Cancer Can Stick It is so passionate to you. So, give us a little rundown. Tell us some of your back history on when you went through breast cancer, how you were diagnosed, your treatment, and things like that. Just fill everybody in on this.
Okay. So I'll start with this. I just celebrated my 5-year milestone. So 5 years cancer free as of last month. And so that's a pretty exciting milestone. I was diagnosed with breast cancer on May 5th of 2015, and that was after having had a clean mammogram in the previous October. So I had a mammogram, but I felt a spot that I felt was suspicious, and it didn't quite feel like a lump, but it was just an area that I described as sort of a thick area. I had dense breast tissue, and so I had had a few biopsies in the years leading up to this point in time. And so I had my mammogram in October, and it was clear, and that spot persisted, and I persisted. And so I went back and said, I need to have another mammogram, and I did. And I was then diagnosed with breast cancer. And so, again, that was on May 5th of 2015. I pushed to have my surgery. I chose to have a double mastectomy with immediate reconstruction, all in one surgery. So one big 8-hour surgery, and I did that. Right, right, and I
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I had myself muted. I was just saying that's actually having all that surgery at once isn't that common at all, is it?
no, it's not, and I think it's becoming more common. But I know that you have to, like, all the planets have to be in alignment, and you have to fit a certain criteria to be eligible for that surgery. And because when I first was talking with the surgeon, I was not planning on doing any reconstruction, which I know is the choice that you made. And when he told me that I was a candidate for that all-in-one, reconstruction, to have that all the surgery taken care of in one shot, I reconsidered and decided that I would go ahead and do that. So I did that surgery on May 26th. I pushed for it to happen really fast because my boys were 13 and 15, and they were in school, and I wanted to be out of surgery and at least a week into my recovery before they got out of school for the summer, so that I could, be around and be available for them. And so I did that surgery, and was very blessed to have no complications, and I recovered really well. And then I started my chemo in July. So took, that whatever amount of time, that was 8 weeks or so to recover. Went and started chemo in July, and I had 16 chemo infusions. So 4 with the AC, as they call it, the adriamycin cytoxin, and the adriamycin is that red devil. And then 12 of Taxol. And so I finished my last chemo treatment on December 28th of 2015. So my oncologist tells me that most people, the date that they use is the date that they were technically considered cancer-free for your anniversary. And so in my case, that would have been my surgery. So that's the date that I use. So May 26th. And so happy to be celebrating 5 years. I did. And that was a very full circle moment for me to, I mean, just to be able to volunteer for Breast Cancer Can Stick It. As you mentioned, it's a passion of mine and it's very close to my heart. I've told this story before that my aunt, one of my closest aunts, my mom's sister, had said to me many times during my journey, know that God has a plan for you, and I know that you're going to do something with this, and we don't know what that is, but you will do something to help people. I know that you will, and that will be revealed at some point. And it was revealed to me. It was revealed to me at BFD, and shout out to Dina. I was there with Dina and Leslie, my concert chicks. And shout out to Dina for introducing me to you. And I'm just so thankful to be able to volunteer. And it was a totally full circle moment to be able to volunteer at the Breast Cancer Can Stick It booth at BFD after having met you just after I went through my journey.
Yeah, and I want to apologize. We've made some changes to our software over the last week or so, and so when I was talking a minute ago, my voice was muted. But in case people didn't get the whole gist, basically, Jennifer was mentioning that her her cancer-free date is May 26th, and I was interjecting that that's actually the time of year that BFD concert happens in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's a big rock concert that's held annually by a local radio station, 97.1 The Eagle. And so Jennifer was just explaining how that all comes full circle for that to fall the same time of year, and then that's when we met and everything like that. So hopefully now you guys, I can see you guys can hear me now because I see the little things jumping up and down. So thank you guys for making comments. There are several people going, "Hey, audio down." So we appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's like it's a new interface for us. That we just started using this year. And like I said, last weekend I made some changes working with a producer, and I'm forgetting some of the changes that I made, and so I messed up on that one. And so the downside is that you might hear me clicking stuff and whatnot while Jennifer is talking alone on the screen, but hopefully we'll all survive that piece of it. So thank you guys for pointing that out. But yeah, and so Jennifer, now that you've been through all that, it's 5 years behind you. 5 years is a big mark for a breast cancer survivor, big time. I mean, that's like one of the big milestones. And then being a part of Breast Cancer Can Stick It, and your roles seem to be expanding to the danger zone. Tell us a little bit about how you feel about working for this organization, and just what it means to you to be a part of making a difference for other women like yourself.
I mean, it's therapeutic for me, because I had a handful of friends, not anybody that I was super close to, but a handful of people that acquaintances that I had, that I, would call and ask questions as after I was diagnosed and as I went through my journey. And it was so helpful to have someone that I could call and say, okay, I've got this. And when you're talking about a cancer diagnosis, and especially breast cancer, because of the sensitive nature of where breast cancer is located and what has to happen with if you choose a double mastectomy. It's a lot of personal questions, and so I appreciated having people that I could talk to and ask those questions. And so it's therapeutic for me. It really is, to know that I'm helping people, that everything that I'm doing, is going to, at some point down the line, help someone. And yes, there's a financial aspect to it, but we're doing this new group that you mentioned, and that brings just a whole nother dimension to it, because that's that personal connection. And of course, you and I have the personal connection, and we can talk our experiences all the time, but it's nice to have a community.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought us back around to that new group. That's one of the big reasons I wanted to have you on the show today. I mean, of course, the fact that you're a breast cancer survivor and sharing your story is so important for people to hear, because a lot of the people watching might not have ever been close to someone who went through breast cancer. So seeing all the different aspects that you go through. But this new survivor group that we have, Survivors Rock, a breast cancer can stick it community. It's metal, dude. It's just awesome. And I mean, even just like on a day like today, we both had some people that we know pretty well that had some pretty big things happen in the last 24 hours. We've
Yes,
really
ma'am.
had a great forum to be able to get more love and support for those people, which is really what everything is about. Is banding together as survivor sisters and lifting each other up. And I wonder if you'd feel comfortable. I mean, you don't have to say names or anything, but one of the people, one of your friends, is going through something today. Went through something this morning. If you want to.
Yes, a good friend of mine who is also part of the group. She had her double mastectomy surgery today, and she actually had a different journey than I did. She went through her chemo first, and then she had her surgery today. So it's sort of been this long journey towards surgery. And she and I had talked about the difference, because it was like she went through all this chemo, and she came through it beautifully. She was also blessed to not have any complications
Metal, dude.
during
It's
her.
just awesome. And I mean.
So she comes through chemo, and of course you're exhausted. No matter how well you do through chemo, you're exhausted, and to then have to face surgery, it's just a little bit different, versus me having gone. And some people might say, well, I can't imagine having to go through that huge surgery and then have to still face chemo. So I mean, neither scenario is a great scenario, but you do what you have to do. And so I heard that she came through surgery just great, and I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet, but I'm very happy to hear that she came through it fine. So.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about having that group is it's a way just to support each other, and also just to share experiences. Like you said, one person might have chemo first and then surgery, another person might have surgery first and then chemo, and there's people in that group that you can look to and share experiences with, which is super helpful. I mean, it's such a scary thing going through breast cancer. I don't know about you, but like when I was first diagnosed, I was like, okay, I need a spreadsheet. and this
Yes,
and the
a
spreadsheet.
binder.
Yeah,
I had a binder.
Yeah, I had a binder. I had a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet was of everybody that I knew that had breast cancer. It didn't matter how old they were or anything. And I had like their name, their phone number, the age they were diagnosed, what they had for surgery, what they had for chemo. And it was like my cross-reference list, right? And this was like before, I guess maybe either I didn't know about such groups on Facebook, or maybe groups didn't even exist 10 years ago. But it was really helpful to have those other people who had been through breast cancer and were especially that were on the other side. Because as someone new going through breast cancer, you want to know there's another side, that you're going to get through it. You want to know other people that made their way through it. So it's super helpful. And I think, go ahead.
And not just that, but you know, family and friends, of course, are very important. I mean, my family was a huge, you know, source of support and comfort for me, as and my husband was an absolute rock. And, you know, my kids staying busy with their activities is really what kept me, you know, focused. And, but having a group of people, and I'll say people, not just women, because we do have one man in our group who is a breast cancer survivor. And but having a group of people who have all been through the same thing, and all of our journeys are different, because people probably don't realize how different a breast cancer journey will be for every single person. It's a very, very unique, you know, journey and treatment plan and experience. And, you know, it depends on your oncologist and the stage that you were diagnosed at and all those different things. Well, someone who has heard those words, you have cancer, there is nothing that can replace how important that is to be able to talk to someone who has been through what you have been through.
Yep, that's 100% true. And I leaned on those people. I always tell people I had this one woman in my life that she was the first person that I met who also had triple negative breast cancer. And when I first got diagnosed, you know, it's a small percentage of people who are diagnosed that get triple negative. It's like 10 to 15%. So I had a hard time finding anybody. And that made me think that they had all passed away. I was in complete panic. So when my friend introduced me to a friend of hers who had triple negative breast cancer, she just became like my mentor, you know? She was like the person that, like, I felt like as long as she was doing good, I would do good, you know? It's weird. It's just like I kind of put myself there. But
Right.
yeah, and I want to give a shout out. I was sitting here and I noticed that you got a lot of love coming at you from people. A lot of love. Danielle, your sister. She was throwing some love. Carol Tatum was throwing you some love. There's a lot of people in here.
That's my mother-in-law.
There you go, right there. I also want to say that there are some other breast cancer survivors in the house right now. I'll keep them private. If they want to post that they're a breast cancer survivor, totally will give you a big call out. So if you want to go ahead and say that you're a breast cancer survivor, I will call you out. But there's a couple of women from our group right now in the broadcast that are really enjoying the show. And I want to tell you, please, if you have any friends that are breast cancer survivors, please tell them about our group. I believe it is actually pinned in the broadcast right now. Yes, it's pinned in the broadcast right now. So you can actually click on that link and then copy that and send that over to your friends that have had breast cancer and let them know to join the group. There are a couple of questions at the top of it, but you answer those questions, we'll admit you right on in, and you can be a part of this fantastic group that we have going. And another thing to point out is one of the things we're going to be doing in that group, not just sharing experiences and lifting each other up, but we're also going to be sharing opportunities through Breast Cancer Can Stick It. We may have different things where you might want to be a part of. For example, we did a deal last year with the Cleburne Railroaders baseball team where we featured breast cancer survivors on the big Jumbotron out there, and you could submit your picture and a quick bit of your story, and that was put up on that big Jumbotron. We also have breast cancer survivors interviewed right here on the Beat broadcast, just like we're doing with Jennifer right now. So if you ever want to be a part of this broadcast, please let us know. We'll be making posts in that group to let you know of opportunities. We're going to try to start doing this weekly, and we would love to have some more breast cancer survivors on the broadcast here. And I think I'm over my time already. I'm like, this is how I work, man. I get behind, I get ahead and then I get behind. So like now,
Then you get behind.
yep. So now I'm like,
that's because we can talk forever.
it's true, and you know we're actually doing pretty good because I'm only 1 minute behind. So I'm pretty proud of myself right now for that, you know. But Jennifer, girl, thank you so much for joining the broadcast, and I want to tell everybody again,
Yes,
Jennifer is one of our moderators and admins for Survivors Rock, a breast cancer constituent community, for our Facebook group page. So you now know her. When you see Jennifer posting over there, you know who she is. You've met her. She's a familiar face. So please come in and say hello. Let your friends know about our new group. We would love to meet them, and we would love to have more amazing breast cancer survivors here on the Beat broadcast. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining, dude. We really appreciate you coming. Man.
Happy to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, we could go off on Drummathon too, but I'll save that for Mr. Rick Hare, and we'll take that with him.
I know. Yeah, let's let Rick talk about Drummathon.
Awesome. Thanks again, Jennifer, for joining. You take care, okay?
Yes,
See you later.